What is up, you guys? This is a Thomas and Trew production with the sole purpose of introducing you to a man, well, actually introducing you to him more than him to you, never mind, with the name of Ho Chi Minh. And as you can see, he's right there. Hey man.
He had 3 siblings. One brother died as a child, another who became an herbalist, and a sister who was a clerk with the French army. As a child, Min studied with his father and later a scholar, mastering Chinese writing, which was required to study Confucianism. He also studied the common Vietnamese language. As per Confucian tradition, his father gave him a new name, Nguyen Tat Tan, or the Accomplished. His father was a Confucian scholar and magistrate in the local government, and was later demoted from his post. However, he could have served in a higher-up position, but later refused as he resented working under the French colonial rule. This was Min's first real exposure to anti-colonial perspectives.
After his first exposure with rebellion, he went around telling people that he took part in an anti-slavery protest, but, like in many other things, this was proved to be untrue. Such fabrications were very common among Vietnamese leaders at the time. He left school seeking an education abroad. He worked as a kitchen staff aboard a French steamboat in 1911. That must have been rough. Once the boat arrived in France, he applied to a colonial administration school, but he got rejected. That must have been even worse. After that, he traveled the world on the steamship until the end of 1917. He arrived in New York City in 1912, where he worked in a bakery on one of his times of off-boating. He claimed to have been a manager of General Motors and in a hotel, but this, not unlike other things, has yet to be proven. While in America, on the other hand, he made many contacts with Korean nationalists, pushing his nationalist viewpoints. Ho Chi Minh also popped up in England around 1913, where he worked as a chef or a dishwasher at various hotels. He continued to make unproven claims, often citing his education as a pastry chef under the eye of a popular French chef. Now it's time for the open letter. But first, let's see what's under this mystery chair. A rolling pin. That's what a French pastry chef would use. Alright, now let's move on to the letter. Dear Auguste Escoffier, you are known as a famous culinary chef. You have had many serious cooking accomplishments, as well as a knack for simplifying and creating new, unique recipes. Were you, Auguste Escoffier, really Min's cooking instructor? Sincerely, Trew. He joined a group of other Vietnamese nationalists and began publishing a newspaper advocating independence in Indochina. After World War I, the group began advocating civil rights for the Vietnamese, but were repeatedly ignored by the French government at the Versailles peace talks. However, this began to spit anti-colonial feelings among the Vietnamese under French rule. He gave speeches in France and Asia, Ho Chi Minh I mean, pushing the governments to join the movements for independence. Ho Chi Minh helped found the Indo-Chinese Communist Party in 1930 and Viet Minh in 1941. At World War II's end, Viet Minh forces seized the northern Vietnamese city of Hanoi and declared a democratic state of Vietnam, or northern Vietnam, with Ho as president. Known as Uncle Ho, he would serve in that position for the next 25 years, becoming a symbol of Vietnam's struggle for unification during a long and costly conflict with the struggle anti-communist regime in South Vietnam and its powerful ally, the United States. When Germany defeated France in 1940 during World War II, Ho saw it as an opportunity for the Vietnamese nationalist cause. Also at around this time, he began to use his adopted name, Ho Chi Minh, roughly translated as Bringer of Light. Anyways, Mr. Bringer of Light, with his lieutenants, returned to Vietnam in January 1941 and organized the Viet Minh, or the League for the Independence of Vietnam. Forced to seek China's aid for his new organization, Ho was imprisoned for 18 months by Chiang Kai-shek's anti-communist government. With the Allied victory in 1945, Japanese forces withdrew from Vietnam, leaving the French-educated Emperor Bao Dai in control of an independent Vietnam. Led by Vo Nguyen Giap's, Viet Minh forces seized and declared a democratic state of Vietnam, known commonly as North Vietnam now, with Ho as president. Ho began negotiations with the French in efforts to achieve a Chinese withdrawal as well as an eventual French recognition of Vietnam's independence, including both North and South Vietnam. But in October 1946, a French cruiser opened fire on the town of Haiphong after a clash between French and Vietnamese soldiers. Despite Ho's best efforts to maintain peace, his more militant followers called for war, which broke out that December. The subsequent treaty negotiations at Geneva, at which Ho was represented by his associates Pham Van Dong, partitioned Indochina and called for elections for reunifications in 1956, finally bringing the French and them under a peaceful time. But that time of peace was not for long. Backed by the United States, the strongly anti-communist South Vietnamese government refused to support the Geneva Accords and put off elections indefinitely. In 1959, armed conflict broke out again as communist guerrillas known as the Viet Cong began launching attacks on the targets. Ho Chi Minh died less than a year later, September 2nd, 1969, and this was because of congestive heart failure. Alright, that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and don't forget that this has been a Trew and Tom Productions. Tom has been behind the camera all the time. Thanks, Tom. See you guys. Bye.